side, kind of weak side duty, or you know, more tanky, super sustainable lane phases, and bringing some nice engage and structure to their team fights. But it definitely could be an angle. You know, this guy, I think, really has earned his spot into the LCS. It's been one of the stories that has been super fun to follow his growth over the years and really establishing himself. So I wouldn't expect a super crazy outturn. There you go, Jatt. You get your Renekton. Double or nothing on the Diana. I would say double or nothing. I don't think you're getting a Diana. But
what do I gain or lose? Like, how am I doubling if it happens?
You only nothing, probably.
I already got one of the two.
Free on subscription.
Oh, you should have doubled or nothing! You should have doubled or nothing! Oh, Jatt!
You gotta give me a reward.
You only get one. Okay, you still get half credit.
I got both.
You were too scared to double or nothing.
Just delayed long enough. This does mean, though, that River, he's going to play another champion. He's played 3 so far in lock-in between J4, Viego, and Lee Sin, and the Diana coming on through. And
I will say this significantly changes Dignitas' overall style, because while Renekton plus Diana, very good top jungle combination, post 6 for Diana, you know, and Renekton wants to play off of an AP jungler, you have a lot of early investment in farming for Diana, which is not how River has played this game. River has played all of lock-in tournament, heavy ganking, Jarvan all over the place. Diana, you cannot skip so many camps like you can with these other early ganking junglers. You really need to play into farming and your combinations. Guess what? Diana Yasuo, the reason we were talking about in game number 1 it being banned out so much is because of this combo. So easy to execute the AoE, and it once again gives a huge team fight to Dig.
It's the solo lanes completely paired up, but it does take blue out of the control mage system though, having to play Yasuo again, so it will definitely change the complexion of the early game. I don't think Dig can be as content just being in a 40-minute game, kind of like they were with the strong frontline, backline, Victor Aphelios damage-dealing duo. I actually wouldn't be too surprised if they tried to slot in something like a Ziggs on the 4-5. If I was TL, I might even just throw a ban out there right now to block that, because that would be kind of the perfect combo of champs if they could get that down bottom.
The early stage of draft leading to the sequence of changes, whether it be Dig's lineup, but also Team Liquid being the one to take the Rakan off the table this time. Eyla still being the subject of multiple bans. No more Nautilus again. This time it's TK that's getting put on the hook, line, and sinker and yeeted out of there.
Meanwhile, on the side for TL too, I feel like, you know, with this Gwen pick for Bwipo, if you get, you know, massive leads like he did with the Graves, you can also team fight incredibly well because of the W. So now he's saying he wants even more possibility to carry the team. They do go with the Senna blocking this one out. The other thing for Dig is that while you can, you know, add some more AP in there, it's really nice to be a solo AP carry as a Diana and your burst combo just blasting the back line. Especially because so much of it is in the combo with Yasuo and having just execution potential on the back line at all times.
Putting more pressure on River to have a good game. That's really what it is. I will say Santorin has played against the Diana in this lock-in tournament already. We'll get into it a little bit more once we're in the game, but he actually pushed the Diana out of her first jungle clear. So we'll see if that's possible once again. And with all those support bans, TL actually opts for the ranged matchup, again having a team comp with very, very low engage options, which is going to be pretty difficult to pilot. Yeah,
it does have incredible damage scaling as the team goes up, but structure to work off of in some of the team fights is going to rely pretty heavily on the Xin and the Gwen creating space with their ult/W and the Lulu ultimate possibly for the knockup, but Jinx there being buffed up by Lulu is another big mid-game powerhouse. You have to avoid the engage from the Diana though, and if Dig want to slap more engage on top of it, this is the recipe for their success. Big team fight, win out on some of these neutral objectives. They've got Leona to get the long range engage and set up for the Diana Yasuo combo.
All right, it's all locked in all the way through. Heard a bit about how these supports are going to impact this on different levels, but who you favoring? Who you feeling in this draft?
Weirdly, right now, I'm feeling Dig.
How's that weird, man?
Yeah.
The first
it's not
on a
weird.
3-game winning streak. It's because they were last pick like 2 weeks ago. They were supposed to be 10th.
Are they just doomed to be the weird kid? We're never going to feel weird. I like weird, so I'm all about it. Give me the weird from Dignitas. And still some things that aren't too weird to see from them, though, knowing that Renekton is going to be in the top going against that Gwen for Bwipo. And I'm excited to see this all come through.
The reason I'm kind of feeling the Dignitas
have to have this extra killer instinct of, using the aggressive engagement from Xin plus a Lulu combination timed with a package to be able to make that all come together. They do have lots of, range and damage for later, but Dig just have so much more playmaking for the mid-range of the game. Neo, though, might take away some of his playmaking if he stays in that brush.
Said, okay, I feel some heat coming from that direction that I want to back off of.
Who's spamming the yellow pings? They've got the comms going, full 5, spam yellow pings just in case.
Just enough of a warning, gets them off. This is game number 2, though. Everybody, Team Liquid, Dignitas pulling ahead in the series thus far.
So they are going to look for some pressure on Diana's early path. As you said, Diana, tilt level 6, not nearly the gank threat that you're used to when you're watching Dignitas with River. So trying to go for an efficient path here.
Yep.
Start up on red quadrant. Gwen actually here, Bwipo's coming around to try and get some vision on him. So maybe they can try and take advantage and early tracking on the Diana to allow Santorin to get a bit more. And once again, Bwipo going in for a good trade.
Yeah, Bwipo's early lane play has been a strength of him for a while, really knowing his level 1s. And look at that chunk he's just getting onto FakeGod right off
200 HP already.
FakeGod, but
bring around the Rosie, and he just gets chopped down to pieces.
Those needles are mighty pointy on the Gwen.
He just ran around a circle, and none of the minions died, and he got no experience until now. The first melee minion just died. That was almost 400 HP, chugging the potions already in the Renekton side. And again, Gwen is a magnificent scaler, and Bwipo absolutely stomped last time around. This champion gives him more possibilities for bringing, if he does get a lead, that to the rest of the team, and it can be something to track here. It just further emphasizes this story for Team Liquid, where it's such a big upset for Dig to pull this off because of all the money Team Liquid spent in the offseason bringing in all these players, Jatt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be upset city if Dig can continue to do what they have done so far. Bwipo just totally pushed up. What's interesting here is they never got the full vision of where River did start. Santorin sees now that the red buff and the Krugs are gone. The question is, do they try and go for a dive? They don't. So in terms of the kind of coin flip you do when you're starting with Diana, able to start opposite quadrant of Xin, dodges the engage, and he's going to have that efficient 6-camp clear.
Early stages right here, kind of in line with what you expect, just wanting to scout out that information as much as possible from that jungle positioning, and we do know that River is currently in that bot side getting the clears, so he can get to that level 6 and impact with some hefty engages within these lanes.
And this is actually so perfect for River right now because you can see he's actually cleared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 camps going for Scuttle, whereas Santorin is missing the Krugs and these because of the time he spent to get vision over in the jungle right here. So pretty good job so far from Dignitas to get River off to a good start.
The man that Dignitas is consistently looking at ever since his arrival to really facilitate within these games and be one of the main engage points for the squad.
Yeah, definitely also say a little bit of a misread there from Team Liquid. Not investing as heavily as we had talked about for the early information. So not being able to punish, not being able to get an advantage, and being behind on CS to the Diana, who has a perfect clear. It's just the most easy full clear route down to bottom side, plus with the Scuttle. Again, is going to set him up for the level 6 that we've been hyping so much for this Dignitas team, where then the team comp really kind of blooms, and you start to see the more aggressive look that we've noticed here from Dig.
They love to lean into that aggression. Team Liquid have their win conditions they're looking at as well. The range that's afforded by a Jinx Lulu lane means that they can poke on their opponents, push that wave up, and make that effective.
And further just tracking what River is doing here. He went, and since he had time still before the respawn of camps, with his sweeper, comes out, makes sure he finds that vision that was invested by Team Liquid in that time, and is able to take it out. And then right back to those Raptors, first spawn there, and can continue for secondary clear, trying to get a very quick level 6.
I think that's mostly what Dignitas will be waiting for, because if he gets 6, that's a good gank with Diana Yasuo, or honestly, just roaming around with Diana Leona is just so much crowd control to whoever they can find, since despite having the Lulu bottom, so to speak, there's been no early laning phase advantage accrued by TL.
Some more of that action that you're going to see in the top with Bwipo just continuously laying down the damage onto FakeGod.
Oh, Ignite goes down, won't be enough to kill him, but I do want to point out, first camp that River has actually skipped is the spawn of this Gromp, and what he did with that time is play off the big pushed wave, push in with his bottom lane's advantage during this timing, take out the vision, and then transition over to Dragon. So even when he skips his first camp, the one Gromp here doesn't pick it up, still so much value for the team.
I think they'll be able to get this since there's a fight going down mid at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dignitas capitalizing upon the information that they were given with those vision. You could see that Santorin was walking across it. River secures the objective, and that's first Drake for Dignitas.
And this is something we were talking so much about in Dignitas' first series versus 100 Thieves. River's ability to work with this team, even though he was one of the latest arrivals to the players that are participating in the lock-in tournament, on the pushed up wave down on bottom, able to work with the double stack here, transitions over to the vision, able to get the objective and finish off Gromp. Extremely efficient stuff for him on a champion that is going to scale quite nicely. So Dignitas, while there's not much else going on in this game, aside from the harassment on top side where Bwipo on his Gwen is going after FakeGod, it is looking quite nice for the early game plan.
It really is, and even with all that harassment, as I pressed the wrong button, we're still just looking at a 12 CS advantage, and we have Renekton 6, which is going to be more potent than almost any other champion when Rift Herald ends up spawning. So really, the gold is even. It is 0-0. The game by no means is drastically swinging in either team's favor, but things are going to plan for Dignitas.
Yeah. Something I should point out, though, for, since we're prefacing Rift Herald and possible fights up here that can start out in skirmishes like 3v3 Swords mid, is that Bjergsen did go with the exhaust this time around. So when you're looking at this kill combination of Diana ult into Yasuo ultimate, which is incredibly effective, especially around that mid lane for your mid 2v2s, the exhaust instead of the teleport there for Bjergsen is a possibility of trying to deal with that, maybe get them a win in one of those fights, as long as he's still able to keep up on his recalls and his itemization. And
the other very important summoner spell to point out is Hansama's Cleanse. I think that's absolutely critical when he's up against Leona Aphelios or even just Renekton Diana. He needs to be able to dodge a CC one-shot.
No flash on Bwipo. He's got the Ignite Gwen.
They got a little tired of getting bullied up here. Flashes forward, the knockback onto Bwipo, a raining down of damage. First blood over in the top lane. Meanwhile, down bot, we've got the skirmish as well. Hansama takes quite a bit of poke, but that's first blood for Dignitas.
Yeah, and that's also why Renekton is this, like, enigma for some teams, because you can just do that. Like, you can be down, you can be getting bullied the whole game, but if your jungler is there and the other jungler isn't, they will just kill you. And they expend the flash to do so, but it's easy.
And exactly why you were hyping up in Champ Select, even before they picked the champions, the Renekton plus your AP carry jungler that can follow in on it, and Diana post 6 just can walk up. River does a very good job. He gets the full pullback on the ultimate, walks up behind the flash from FakeGod, saves his E dashes. They wait out on the W time, get the kill, and transitions into Rift Herald. And I just want to continue to point out how efficient this is. This is when his topside had just respawned. And so he finishes up with his very efficient topside camps into another topside camp, which is the Gwen, kills off that one.
Big camp, big topside camp.
It takes Rift Herald. So, it's like, as a jungler, I cannot, this is just like all glory here to River. It's so efficient and successful in the gank, plus the objectives. You got to be kidding me here. Both neutrals achieved by him as well.
And I want to see how much Dignitas can kind of push this game, because if we think about the way both of these teams win the game, Dignitas has a lot of engages, and it's kind of on them to push the tempo. But even if we go back to the first game where Team Liquid did have a somewhat similar composition, low engage, high damage. The way those teams progress the game is either they have completely dominant side lanes and they just accrue this 5,000 or 10,000 gold advantage and you just can never walk into them to fight, or they start stacking objectives and force you in. But Dignitas has the Rift Herald, they have the Dragon, they're the ones stacking the objectives. That is a solo kill.
Solo bolo for
Bwipo.
Yeah, Blue and River made the rotation through to try and punish it. The knock up from Yasuo, another slice of the knife, and they return the kill.
I feel so bad for Bwipo this series, man. He is just pumping out work. Like, this man is playing his heart out. And now what do you do but type team diff? The Diana jungle combos used on you with the Yasuo.
I was wondering for some time if we would see the classic FakeGod where he has to rely upon that mental resilience of getting so pushed in top and bring that power later, but Dignitas playing into him in the earlier stages of the game, punishing Bwipo to put him at 1 and 2 on the scoreboard. And these advantages for Dignitas, something they haven't seen in the early game in their most recent times on Summoner Rift. A bit of change of pace from them.
Yeah, they still have the Rift Herald as well, which could open up space for a Drake attempt, or they can kind of think about just taking it. We're going to watch this one more time. It is a really nice solo kill by Bwipo, right? He lands all of his ult stacks right onto FakeGod. FakeGod was probably trying to bait a little bit because he knew his team was on the way and just took a little bit too much damage, and it ends up being a 1-for-1. And in the meantime, Bjergsen got 1 plate mid. So not a huge win by TL despite getting a solo kill.
Yeah, I mean, allocating a lot of resources up there once again towards Bwipo, something we saw in game number 1 as well. That's one of those things that you get super frustrated, though. If you're ever trying to bait and you bait too hard and die like that, when you know you've got some collapsing teammates. It is going to be this Dragon, though, picked up on the side of Team Liquid, because River just transitioned right back through onto blue quadrant, and bottom lane pushing up. Lulu Jinx is definitely something that has a really nice mid-game curve, being able to speed up the Jinx and utilize the extra range with rockets towards the mid-game and start getting those levels in.
There they go.
Light Sigil drop down on the bot side. Bjergsen comes in with the package for FakeGod. Some more needlework will do it on top. Bwipo getting that kill credit. And meanwhile, on the bottom, it's the trade. Hansama falls.
This is big, though, because they have the Rift Herald and they've already chunked that turret, so they're going to try and probably get a full turret here. You saw the cleanse going in the top lane and a good use of package by Bjergsen in the top lane.
Yep, you can just open this one up. So while it is traded kills, way bigger rewards. Not only is it the Rift Herald, but also there is a teleport right here for FakeGod, so he can teleport back to the top lane and you won't lose out on as many minions. Plus, gonna chunk down all these plates with the Herald.
Pretty good defense, though, not letting any auto attacks come in early.
Downtown Rocket, just to the right of Biofrost, but Team Liquid do make a little bit of a stand on that turret.
Something we did talk about during Champ Select, though, with Diana being the sole AP in this game, is it was very important that River got off to a good start. He has. He's got very efficient jungle clearing for most of the game, and then 2 kills with an early mythic item completion. So he's off to the races. We're going to watch this gank one more time because the camera was on the Corki gank top lane. Hansama is hoping the cleanse is going to be enough to avoid this engage, right? But when his cleanse is used like that, you can see the CC can just be delayed a little bit. They knock him back and just burst him down.
Yeah, I mean, it was also good timing on the ult from Eyla. Gets the knock up there, so it requires the all-in from River. You know, flashing forward, it is flash from when Leona and a Diana grabbing you. That's like, as an AD carry, man, that's a lot coming at you. So I think it was a good cleanse. It was just Bio flashed right when he did it and was able to get the E onto him. Good ultimate from Eyla to get the knockup so he can combo there, but then another flash comes through and Diana's able to lock it up.
Wave's in a really bad spot for FakeGod.
Yeah, more attention paid towards this top side by Team Liquid. FakeGod knows that he might be in a bit of trouble. River right here on his camp, so he's going to join the party. A stun onto Santorin. Follow up. Eyla is here as well to throw out the whimsy. Bwipo, he's coming through with a hell of a miss. A nice knockup. Blue gets it. Everybody's going to circle onto Bwipo. The rocket from down from Bjergsen to dish out some additional damage, and Blue, while exhausted, continues to go in on Bjergsen. Not quite chunked down. Flash to the right to avoid the NATO, and FakeGod keeps his sights on the enemy mid laner. Taking down Bjergsen. The crocodile gets it.
Man, as you see, it is River turned into a little cupcake by Lulu, but he's still bouncing at you menacingly. You know the ults are coming. Grouped up, they get such a dreamy engage there. Nice little follow-up through the River, though. Bjergsen almost able to correct the situation for Team Liquid. In the end, though, flashes both used. And the solo laners finish him off. So here's another look at it.
Roccat flip the switch replay right here. You can see whenever Dig can fight around Renekton and Diana, they're pretty happy. And they just get womboed, honestly, by that. Bjergsen comes in, and I think the shield blow as well as the exhaust, he thought was going to be enough to turn the fight. This was a questionable re-engage by Dig, but they make it work out by actually getting the flash and exhaust out of Bjergsen, suffering no fatalities, and taking him down. That could very well be the game-turning fight.
Quick feet on both sides, and now back to the objective at hand is the Rift Herald getting targeted down by Dignitas. Up until this game, we saw so much priority and control from Santorin across the Rift Herald, and meanwhile, it's Dignitas that have grabbed both in this one.
Yep, solo lanes with some aggressive matchups there, so that's where you want to play as Dignitas, and they're playing right into their draft that they went for. You know, they invested these draft resources so early into these combinations, and you have to be able to play off of the strategy that you, set up there. So all 3 early picks, topside picks, looking for those aggressive lanes that have CC set up, that have pushing power, but now they're under attack. Blue's got a teleport behind him, and the Jinx in front of him.
He sees it, throws up the wind wall, but Bwipo's got some quick footwork of his own, throws out the needlework. So Blue is on the retreat, and FakeGod is here, activates the Dominus, but he is smashed between way too many members of Team Liquid. Blue under the retreat of the turret. A nice big wild growth. Bwipo gets it.
And you gotta keep your eyes on the minimap. This is a counter push towards mid, and counter pushes when you have Rift Herald in hand are very, very devastating. Can he finish off the tower? It doesn't do damage to itself. Good job saving some health on the Herald there by finishing the turret by hand with the white gun, but secondary turret gets knocked down here with a charge as well. They can't finish it off actually because of package. Package alert, and Bjergsen barely keeps it standing.
Slim margins right there, because if they stay to try and get that turret, they risk not being able to get this Drake. I don't think Santorin's gonna fly in there. Luckily, he doesn't go for the hero steal because it would be completely unnecessary. And we need to track these things, right? Because in game 1, when Bwipo was getting the farm sent at him, we didn't see the cross map by TL. That was a good cross map attempt by Dignitas, but honestly, it was turret for turret, and they never got that second tier actually all the way down.
And every second counts with pushing here. If there was one more second of health left on that dragon, then I think Santorin would have gone in for the steal attempt, because Santorin could go in, ultimate, Bjergsen has package, he flies over the top, and Gwen was coming around the bottom. So that is a lot closer, maybe 1 second of travel time off from them trying to get that counterplay. In the end, Team Liquid, they push mid first and still get a tower in reward on bottom side into the hands of Bwipo.
And then a flash from River as well in that jungle side, and FakeGod finding himself in the 1v1, but on the opposite side of the map, Dominus to keep him alive, but it's not enough. Bwipo with another solo kill afforded to him.
Bwipo is a problem. He is a problem for Dig. When we talk about
on that grind set for sure.
The way that TL will need to win this game, it's either through just solo lane dominance, where they're putting pressure just through the strength of the 1v1 on the champions, and right now, absolutely no one can match him in the side lane, because it's not through having great team fight initiation, and it's not through having any dragon stacking, but I think Bwipo is the one really keeping them in this game.
Do you now? I agree.
Controversial statement, unpopular opinion. Bwipo with the 5 kills of the 6 is keeping them in the game.
And the best part is, as we talk about in Champ Select this time around, he said, give me something that I can more hard carry the whole team on. You know, he's got more possibilities with Gwen than with Graves. Because of the W, you can also team fight. It's not just running around, trying to push out side lanes, getting solo kills on FakeGod. Let's see it, though, because he's going to have to keep this up. To be fair, 2-item power spike already for that Gwen.
Yeah.
Huge, huge power spike here. When you have the Nashers, this attack speed, chasing people down is so deadly, and especially when you're on a power curve that other champions are not able to keep up with.
Yeah.
Draining some of the pressure over in these side lanes. FakeGod has made his way back over towards bot. doesn't have teleport available if a skirmish does break out. Bwipo has his sights on River to see if he can capitalize on it. A little bit to the side from the Hansama ultimate, but it's Bwipo that gets the kill.
I'm sorry, but it is just fun to watch some 1v9 action sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta root for the one person who is just massively carrying games.
6 and 3. 400 bounty.
And that was River. River is, again, as we keep setting up, the crux of this Dignitas draft, of their team fight, of their team. You know, so much of a playmaker, so much of the setup for the whole Diana-Yasuo combo here. And Bwipo, as soon as he sets his sights on literally anyone, will just want to get melee range and chase them down, where Gwen excels in keeping up with the full chase, because you can get those resets on the needlework with the extra slows. That's why it's so hard to deal with.
And there was the stat we talked about in game 1 before Bjergsen, or before Bwipo got that 2v1 double kill, how he was 43% of the team's deaths. So he still is. Like, he's 3 of the 7 deaths. He's 43% of Team Liquid's deaths this game. But you accept that when he's 85% of the team's kills. Like, it'll balance out in favor of Bwipo.
Yeah, accept anything from Bwipo at the moment.
He knows how to keep his head in the game. That's definitely clear. And for Dignitas, one of the questions that was posed is River has been on the J4 for 3 games. See them switch up the style, indexing into the combo that he offers, and it hasn't quite come into execution.
I love it. I say River is just good. River is good on anything you put him on. I think he has done extremely well with Diana playing to the champion. You have to farm to level 6. He's been insanely efficient at it. Yes, he did have lanes that were picked to have early CC advantages, set up potential for him, control for him. But that's what you need to do when your team drafts like this. And he pathed efficiently, picked up the neutral objectives, also was able to get on level 6, the level 6 kill immediately. So I think very effective.
Yeah, but let's watch the setup for this Drake right now, because we got 30 seconds left, and if you just look at the side waves, Bwipo's been able to push bot wave all the way up here and still get that ward, which now gives him a roam timing for TL to probably push the mid wave up into here, and they have to hold this zone. If Dig gets a good engage or a flank, they can still win this fight. So TL has to get a good start.
And with that setup, they move as a unit into enemy territory. They'll have the opportunity to clear a little bit of this control warding, so this river is quite dark for Dignitas. Team Liquid can now focus on the objective. No stepping up thus far from the Dignitas squad, so that soul point denied, Team Liquid picking it up.
Yep, and it was a lot to do with Bwipo being unmatched in the side waves. Well done by TL.
And also package timing.
Yep.
We say this every single year whenever Corki gets back around in meta, but this is just such a game-breaking passive. To play around this is very easy. It's only 4 minutes on the respawn for your package. Dragon is 5. You do the math. It's very easy. That was Dragon. Pick up the next one for the next Dragon.
Package timing, sometimes the only timing you need around some of these objectives as the mid laner, and we still have obviously a lot of time until that next Drake will spawn, but Baron is up only at that 23-minute mark now, so it would be a bit early, but it means that's where that warding prioritization is going to come through, with River taking this scuttle at that. A little bit of poke over the wall here, though.
Yeah, just clearing wards in the Baron area, but a possible Baron sneak and trying to hold an engage spot in the Baron River would be maybe a way for Dig to try and make a move in this game, because that Gwen ain't getting any weaker.
Still going to be putting in that work to keep the Renekton at bay. And remember, a long time ago, Dig did get that hefty chunk into that tier 2 turret down mid, and wanting to try to push that advantage at some point.
They are looking for a pincer. Maybe they just want to push.
Well, Santorin goes in, gets a flash out, gets another. Bwipo still in pursuit. Biofrost has to flash over the wall to get into the pit, but that's a lot of needlework damage that's coming through. River goes in, the solar flare also for some additional peeling. Bwipo goes into stasis, so does River. FakeGod has arrived, slices and dices in. Knock up means that it's a shutdown in favor of Blue. Hansama gets the return kill, but a lot of blasting across the board. A polymorphed Blue has to set his escape, throws out a NATO, but it's not enough. That's a quadra kill from Hansama on the Jinx.
What a close fight. fight right there. The Diana-Yasuo combo was not quite enough because TL had dished out so much damage prior to that, and they're going to turn for Baron.
They finally took down Bwipo, but it cost them everything, Jatt.
Yep.
This is a team with Corki and Jinx who have been patiently scaling. So Bwipo and Santorin, these two create so much space. They get all of the movement, all of the dashes out of Neo, out of the carry, and then Bwipo continues to fight, double Zhonya's here, and Dig think this is our chance to strike. Bwipo, the carry, we finally take him down. But guess what? Lulu buffed Jinx and Corki, even with a great re-engage from River to be able to get the combo with Blue. The exhaust that I talked about earlier there, the extra one, Bjergsen has it. He puts it down on the Yasuo. They don't die within the combo. The two hyper carries, the scaling carries for Team Liquid, Bjergsen and Han Sama carry the team fight with Bjergsen and Santorin creating so much of the space and forcing all of these cooldowns. Han Sama's like, I'm great if everybody's thinking about Bwipo, and I get to free fire here on Jinx.
Yeah, and you can really see like the exhaust cut down heavily on Blue's damage. River still was able to do the 4K, and it was Han Sama's Jinx doing the majority of the heavy lifting on that, even if Corki got some good damage in during that fight. Now he's at 3 items and will still have the Lulu ult in his back pocket to keep him elusive.
I just want to say, you know, I was looking for more stuff from Bjergsen. That's some veteran stuff. Keep in mind, always thinking about your matchup. Get that exhaust versus the Yasuo combo. Pays out really big for the team. He also had an early roam with his package up towards top side. Try and take advantage of Bwipo's winning lane there, up and get another kill onto FakeGod. So good stuff from him, even though it's all assists so far. Like a true team leader, team player.
Yeah, always trying to lead them in multiple ways, which leaves Han Sama the opportunity to pop off in the way he did 1-1-1 before that fight.
Yeah, picking up all the gold onto Jinx with Lulu buffing him and having full 3-item crit power spike and the safety of a stopwatch for Han Sama really sets him up to shine now. As much work as Bwipo has done to get them here, the carries can push them over the line.
And while the cleanse is still down for Han Sama, if River can somehow remain undetected, it would be really important because they'd want to try and one-shot Han Sama, which is why Santorin retaking control of the jungle there is key.
Especially when there is a Drake coming up in 25 seconds that both teams want to try and get some action over. Team Liquid pushing up into enemy territory for that very reason.
Yep, and that's why Bjergsen picked up the package so that they could push out on both of the lanes. Fully light up the blue quadrant and the pathway down to this dragon to set themselves up for soul point. Yeah. And that is the type of ramp of a gold graph that you want to see for the team that has so much damage scaling.
And Dignitas, they know the problems that Team Liquid are posing coming through. That gold lead has extended 5.6k in TL's favor. They do have grievous wounds across the board on multiple members to try to cut through some of that, but they got to cut through it right now because Biofrost already chunked a nice knock up onto FakeGod. Has to pop the dominance to get out of it. The rocket hits onto River. Tries to get some action with a little bit of poke and keep Team Liquid out of this, but they've been securing the objectives.
That was a great example of space creation, right? They don't actually really have engage, but Bwipo just walks up with his strength and pushes basically all of Dignitas back to their nexus that allows TL to just clear the inhibitor and get the dragon.
It's the wonders of these spells, like Zen Ultimate and Gwen W.
Yeah.
Allows you to be an aggressive frontliner.
Oh,
FakeGod doesn't have either of those.
Oh, Lottie finds himself going in the opposite direction. Does flash over the wall.
Find some time.
Distance. Okay, but there's still 3 Team Liquid members on his tail. I think those scales are getting peeled back a little bit. Bjergsen putting a rock between each of them, and that's finally the death for FakeGod.
One of these escapes is not like the other. Reminds me of the Bwipo graves run around the entire map circle, except not a happy ending to that one.
Definitely not.
Not quite. Team Liquid, though, definitely in the driver's seat. And it feels like how we're thinking, oh, they haven't changed that much of the type of composition that they're bringing through, which you saw, they didn't have that engage prior. But just what you're saying, the power that they offer, nullifying the fact that they don't necessarily have those tools.
Yeah, and you also look across the map at what Dignitas is running in Game 2 versus in Game 1. They had the Victor scaling in the first game. Here, they are very outscaled in a 5v5 unless they can land a very clean CC lock engage on one of the TL carries, which they haven't been able to do.
Yeah, I think it actually is pretty clear differences as far as what their goal was with it.
Yeah.
And now you're facing a very difficult situation with, guess what? The super damage scaling in range is very easy to utilize when you're sieging up at these towers.
Yep.
Looking for these poke opportunities to thread on through. Hansama and Bjergsen can play very offensively. He's got a GA, plus if you look at Eyla's positioning here, constantly hovering by both carries, keeping away from them so that he doesn't get caught in the Diana-Yasuo combo. If there's a flash attempt at the combo, that is basically the main thing for supports in these scenarios. Close enough that you can get off your shields and your ultimate, but obviously not that you get caught in the combo.
Yeah, and if we think back about the way this game was playing out, there were a lot of really positive things for Dignitas early on. They even won that big skirmish at about 14, 15 minutes where they opened up a 3,000 or 4,000 gold lead, but I'd say TL did a good job at sticking around. They got both the shutdowns onto FakeGod and Blue, and from that point forward, they've just kind of been able to throw Bwipo's strength around the map and get a bigger advantage. Here it comes again.
Teleport directly in the bush. Bwipo, he sees Blue, he goes for it, throws up the Hallowed Mist, and even some needles will do it. Look at the burn down when he finds his target. Oh, Lord.
I'm just telling you, man. Gwen gets ahead. It is insane. And he's level 18 here. Only one more item slot to fill.
There's another solo kill, right? I don't think it's assisted.
Honestly, too, it would have been a double if the team tried to help out Blue. You know, they were too scared to go in. Bwipo is fine to teleport into a Diana-Yasuo combo. It doesn't matter if they're close together. Completely annihilates one half of it.
Dignitas feeling like they're losing some agency in these moments. I mean, that Baron buff was secured by Team Liquid. Just got to throw some chompers over the wall, say, nah, 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 you don't want to come in this pit. It's just my place to hang out. And now they get to bring that power over towards the mid lane. They had already taken down that bot inhibitor. Now they're looking to do so here as well. Even have a cannon over on that top side to be escorted by Bwipo. And Dignitas's world is getting that much smaller.
Yeah, I like your term, Jatt. I think it should be the title for this game number 2 is the strength of Bwipo. You know, this is episode 2, Revenge of Team Liquid, the strength of Bwipo.
It's possibly like the revenge of Bwipo too, because game 1 ended on such a tragic note where he flank TP'd into dying in a quarter second to Blue's victor. This game, he's like single-handedly ruining TL's kill participation stats because he's getting so many solo kills. It's 3 or 4 already. There was the first round of FakeGod. He definitely solo killed River, and he just solo killed Blue. So we need to find a way for him to get Neo and Biofrost in like a 1v2, and he can get the full solo kill ace.
He hits so hard.
A new Bwipo passive.
Oh, Biofrost, get him.
Oh no.
No one help.
Biofrost, he's the next target. Has to flash out. Santorin still on it. Yep, gets the ultimate. We want to see more solos, but it's okay. Team Liquid, they want to try and get the dub to make sure that this is an even series.
I think he could have done it himself. I don't think he needed help.
I like how 2 Santorin flashes it. I got this one.
Just let me participate. The last stand from Dignitas, knock up onto multiple, but it's a resurrection coming through with the GA from the Yasuo. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, they blast through the rest of them. 3 taken down for Dignitas. Blue, as soon as he gets back from that stasis, isn't long for this world. River on the outskirts once more, and Team Liquid, eyes on the Nexus, tie up the series.
A strong recovery after a shaky early game by TL. Even though the champs were definitely different in the top lane from Graves to Gwen, I will say that low engage, high damage, TL sticks with it for game 2 and just pulls out a better result.
You have to commend them for doing that and really sticking with it as well, right? Not making too many adjustments on their side, despite Dignitas doing some adjustments of their own.
I gotta say, there's so many stories to track and lock, you know, and we're like, oh, return of Bjergsen, he's unretiring. Bwipo switching back to top lane from jungle. Is he gonna be a good top laner still? I think he is. Data's looking pretty good on this one so far. Really big performances, as you said, even in the game number 1 that they lost. He's seamlessly filling right back into the role.
Like his gold gapping in the top lane is is a lot. We'll
yes.
see if Dignitas can control him
Bit
in
of
any
a gap,
way.
eh?
Yeah, bit of a gap.
Yeah, his pants are a little heavy with the gold that they're putting in his pockets. And because of that, Team Liquid, they answer back. And while our team